This video is about Gilgamesh fights Humbabu but companion falls. If this myth excites you, please like the video, share it with friends, and write in the comments how it pulled you into the adventure. In the ancient land of Uruk, where the sun cast its golden rays upon the ziggurats and the Euphrates whispered the secrets of the Ol, there lived a king whose name echoed through the ages, Gilgamesh, 2/3 divine and 1/3 mortal. He ruled with unmatched strength, his body sculpted like an immortal warrior, his spirit restless and yearning for glory. Yet a shadow lurked behind his luminous crown, a dread of solitude that gnawed at his heart. In the halls of Uruk, when the sun dipped behind the mountains, Gilgamesh often found himself haunted by dreams of adventure, of realms unseen, and challenges that would etch his name among the stars. He longed for companionship, for a friend who could match his fervor. Thus, the gods, in their celestial council, answered his unspoken wish, breathing life into Enkidu, a wild man forged from the clay of the earth, who roamed the forests and grazed with the beasts. A friendship blossomed, forged in the fires of shared trials, and together they ventured into the wilderness, challenging the constraints of their fates. They crossed rivers and climbed mountains, proving their strength, valor, and unbreakable bond. Their laughter echoed like thunder, and their names became legends whispered by the winds. But destiny had more perilous trials in store. One fateful day, Gilgamesh heard of a fearsome guardian named Humbabu, the monstrous protector of the cedar forest, appointed by the god Enlil himself. Rumors swelled that Humbabu's roar could split mountains and that he wielded the powers of the earth to punish intruders. Yet, the allure of the great cedar trees drew Gilgamesh like a moth to flame. He envisioned them as pillars of his kingdom, marvels that would stand for generations. "Let us slay this creature," Gilgamesh proclaimed, his voice echoing with the fervor of a tempest. "We shall carve our names into the annals of history, and the wood of the cedar shall become symbols of our triumph." Enkidu, wise yet loyal, felt the pulse of caution. "Gilgamesh, my brother," he countered, his voice like a calming brook. "This Humbabu is no mere beast. He is cursed by the gods, a guardian with the wrath of Enlil. We must tread carefully." But Gilgamesh, driven by the fire of ambition, dismissed the warning. "I will not cower in fear when glory awaits us. Come, my friend, let us seize our destiny." With reluctant hearts, they gathered their gear, the blade forged from the heart of a fallen star, a shield crafted by the hands of artisans beyond measure, and a heart filled with the promise of legends yet to be born. With the blessings of the sun, they set forth toward the cedar forest, where silence cloaked the trees like a shroud. As they approached the forest's edge, an eerie stillness enveloped them. The air thickened with the scent of cedar and the pulse of ancient magic. Shadows danced between the trees, whispering warnings lost to the winds. "This place breathes a power older than time," Enkidu murmured, his instincts tingling like an electric storm. "Fear not," Gilgamesh replied, his voice resolute. "We will conquer this darkness together." They plunged into the heart of the forest, their steps echoing like drums of war. The trees stood tall, their roots entwined like ancient serpents. Suddenly, a thunderous roar shattered the silence, reverberating through the woods as if the very ground trembled in fear. It was Humbabu, a titanic figure, his skin a mosaic of scales and bark, eyes like molten gold, glinting with malice. "Who dares intrude upon my sacred domain?" Humbabu bellowed, his voice shaking the leaves from the branches. "You bring the scent of death upon yourselves." Gilgamesh stepped forward, undeterred, the fire of ambition igniting his eyes. "I am Gilgamesh, king of Uruk, and I have come to claim the cedar trees. Face me, monster, and let us decide who shall rule this realm." Humbabu's laughter thundered like a storm, echoing through the trees. "You seek glory, boy king? You know not the wrath of the gods you challenge. Find their chosen protector, and your blood will nourish the roots of these ancient trees." Enkidu, sensing the tides of battle shifting, drew his breath. "Gilgamesh, we must be cautious. This creature's strength is beyond measure." But Gilgamesh, blinded by pride, raised his sword high. "Stand with me, Enkidu. We shall fight as brothers." As the clash began, the forest erupted into chaos. Gilgamesh charged, his sword slicing through the air, while Enkidu, the wild man, danced like the wind, evading the powerful swipes of Humbabu's massive claws. The ground trembled beneath their feet, and the very trees seemed to tremble in anticipation of the bloodshed. Humbabu swung his enormous arm, a whirlwind of destruction, and struck Gilgamesh, sending him crashing against a cedar trunk. The impact rattled the ancient tree, but Gilgamesh rose, bloodied yet unbroken. "This is but the beginning, monster," he roared defiantly. "Foolish king," Humbabu taunted, his voice chilling his eyes. "Your spirit is valiant, but it will not save you." With a primal scream, Enkidu leaped upon Humbabu's back. gripping the creature's neck with sinewy strength. Now, Gilgamesh struck while he is vulnerable. Gilgamesh took a deep breath, channeling every ounce of strength and courage, and charged once more, his sword gleaming with the light of the sun. But as he closed the distance, Humbabu roared, a sound that split the air, echoing into the heavens. The sheer force of the sound knocked Gilgamesh off balance, and in that moment of hesitation, tragedy struck. Humbabu twisted, swiping Enkidu from his back as if he were nothing but a fly. The wild man flew through the air, landing hard against the forest floor, a pain gasp escaping his lips. Gilgamesh, he cried out, his voice laced with agony, finish this fight. Gilgamesh's heart sank as he locked eyes with his fallen friend, the ferocity of battle forgotten in an instant. No, Enkidu, he shouted, rushing toward him, but Humbabu was quick. You dare to mourn a dying man? Humbabu's laughter echoed, a cruel cacophony that filled the air with dread. His end draws near, and your soul shall follow. Fueled by rage and grief, Gilgamesh charged once more, a fury unlike any seen before. He swung his sword with all the might of a tempest, aiming for the center of Humbabu's chest, where the heart of the beast lay hidden behind layers of skin and muscle. Enkidu, struggling to rise, whimpered, Gilgamesh, do not give in to despair, the gods have not forgotten you. With a final roar, Gilgamesh thrust his blade into Humbabu, piercing the creature's heart. The guardian let out a deafening wail, a sound that rattled the very world around them. The trees shivered, and for a brief moment the sun itself dimmed as if in mourning for the fallen guardian. As Humbabu fell, the ground quaked, and a shocking silence enveloped the forest. Gilgamesh, panting heavily, dropped to his knees beside Enkidu, cradling his friend's head in his hands. Stay with me, brother, we've conquered the beast. But Enkidu's eyes fluttered, dimming like a fading star. Gilgamesh, I am but a shadow now, the weight of sacrifice is heavy, and my time has come. No, you cannot leave me. Gilgamesh cried, tears streaming down his face. We are destined for greatness, you must live to see it. With a weak smile, Enkidu coughed, blood staining his lips. Greatness is not measured by victory alone, my friend. It is the bonds we forge and the love we share. Carry my spirit with you, Gilgamesh. As the last breath escaped Enkidu's lips, the wind howled through the trees, carrying the lament of loss throughout the realm. Gilgamesh, his heart a tumult of grief and rage, screamed to the heavens, I will not forget you, Enkidu, your name shall echo through the ages. In that moment of despair, a dark omen fell upon him. The gods watched from their celestial thrones, knowing that Gilgamesh's journey had only just begun. For in the wake of tragedy lay the seeds of further trials, and the king would soon discover that the path to glory was fraught with both sacrifice and destiny. Thus, with a heart heavy with loss, Gilgamesh rose, the echoes of battle still ringing in his ears, and set forth into the unknown. The adventure had only begun, and within the tapestry of fate, destiny wove new threads of challenge and honor. The cedar forest lay in eerie silence, the air thick with the aftermath of battle. Gilgamesh knelt beside Enkidu, the weight of his friend's sacrifice bearing down like the stones of a forgotten temple. The world felt hollow, devoid of the laughter and wild spirit that had ignited their adventures together. As the sun dipped beneath the horizon, casting shadows that danced like ghosts, the ground trembled beneath the weight of mourning. Gilgamesh pressed his forehead against Enkidu's, whispering his friend's name like a prayer. Enkidu, your spirit will guide me, and I will not falter. The gods will hear your name, this I swear. But the silence that followed his vow was deafening. No response came from the heavens, just the ominous rustle of leaves, as if the forest itself mourned alongside him. From the depths of darkness, a voice echoed a low, rumbling tone that sent a chill through Gilgamesh's marrow. You grieve for the wild man, king of Uruk, yet there is no honor in his death. You have slain my champion. Emerging from the shadows was Ishtar, the goddess of love and war, her eyes glinting like daggers under the dimming light. The air crackled with her divine presence. She was both beautiful and terrifying, the embodiment of allure and wrath. You would seek glory, yet what glory is there in the death of a friend? You have brought the ire of the gods upon yourself. Gilgamesh rose to his feet, defiance burning in his chest. I sought only to protect my kingdom and to carve my name into legend. Enkidu understood this his sacrifice was not in vain. Do not deceive yourself, king. Your greed has stirred ancient powers. Humbabu was but a guardian. You've unleashed a greater darkness. Ishtar's voice dripped with contempt. For your boldness, I will curse you, Gilgamesh. You will wander the earth seeking your friend's spirit, and you will know the weight of loss. With those words, her form shimmered and vanished, leaving behind only a lingering chill that clawed at Gilgamesh's heart. He staggered back, the enormity of her curse crashing down upon him like a tidal wave. What had once felt like a path paved with glory now twisted into a murky maze filled with shadows of despair. Driven by grief, Gilgamesh turned away from the hollow ground where Enkidu lay, embracing the unbearable emptiness that had suddenly engulfed him. "I will find a way to honor you, my brother," he whispered, his voice trembling yet resolute. "I will not allow your sacrifice to be forgotten." The sun dipped low, and darkness enveloped the forest as he set forth into the unknown, guided only by the faint glimmer of starlight above. With each step, whispers echoed in the wind, tales of ancient heroes lost to time and the treacherous paths they traversed. Each footfall resonated with the promise of vengeance, the promise of destiny. Days turned into nights as Gilgamesh traversed the rugged terrains of forgotten kingdoms, seeking the counsel of those who had tasted both glory and despair. He visited the oracle of Uruk, a wise seer cloaked in the mist of time, whose eyes held the weight of countless souls. "King Gilgamesh," she intoned, her voice like the rustling of leaves, "the heartache you carry is a gift, and a cursed path forward lies before you, but the cost shall be steep." "What must I do?" he pleaded, desperation woven into his tone. "How can I reclaim what was taken from me?" The journey to the cedar forest stirred fate, and now the gods watch. "Seek the immortal Utnapishtim, who resides at the edge of the world," she instructed. "He alone holds the wisdom of life and death, the secret to crossing realms." Fueled by determination, Gilgamesh set off once more, traversing desolate landscapes and treacherous mountains. Each trial brought new dangers, cunning beasts and treacherous terrain that threatened to consume him. Yet he pressed on, fueled by the memory of Enkidu's laughter and the echo of their shared dreams. On the third night, as the moon hung like a silver coin in the sky, he stumbled upon a craggy cliff overlooking a vast expanse of water. Just beyond the shimmering surface lay the realm of Utnapishtim the Immortal, who had survived the Great Flood, a man who held the answers to life's deepest questions. Summoning his remaining strength, Gilgamesh called out into the darkness, "Utnapishtim, I seek your wisdom. I demand to know how to reclaim what I have lost." The stillness was profound, as if the very earth held its breath. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the depths of the waters, a man with skin like sun-kissed earth and eyes that glowed with otherworldly light. "You come, King of Uruk, seeking that which cannot be undone," Utnapishtim said, his voice calm yet resolute. "What you seek is not meant for mortals. I cannot accept this." Gilgamesh shouted, rage clashing with sorrow in his heart. "I will not return to Uruk without the knowledge to navigate the realms. I must understand the weight of my grief and how to honor my friend." Utnapishtim observed him with a mix of pity and respect. "Very well, Gilgamesh, I shall grant you a chance, but know this, the journey will test your spirit. You must face the scorpion guardians of the mountains of Masher and cross the waters of death." With newfound purpose, Gilgamesh crossed through the cavernous mountain pass, the air thick with the scent of ancient magic. Shadows flickered like whispers in his periphery, but he pressed on, heart pounding in his chest. At the mountain's peak, two colossal scorpions emerged, their tails poised to strike, each as fierce as the storms of the gods. "Turn back, King of Men," one of them hissed, its eyes like fiery coals. "You do not belong in realms beyond mortal understanding." Gilgamesh squared his shoulders, courage igniting within him like a blazing sun. "I will not return. I seek knowledge beyond my years, the truth of existence itself. Let me pass, or face my blade." The scorpions shared a glance, their stingers twitching with uncertainty at his boldness. "Very well," they relented, "but tread carefully, for the waters you seek are treacherous, and not all who enter return." With a warning echoing in his mind, Gilgamesh descended into the abyss, a swirling maelstrom of darkness and light. The water shimmered with an ethereal glow, yet the whispers of the lost filled the air, souls yearning for release, souls that had crossed from life to death. As he waded deeper, the waters tugged at him like an unseen force, threatening to pull him under. "Enkidu," he called, desperation clawing at his throat. "Guide me, I will not fail you." In that moment, a vision enveloped him, a fleeting glimpse of Enkidu, standing on the edge of the forest, surrounded by vibrant life. "Do not fear, my brother, your heart is your greatest strength. Fight against the tide." Drawing upon the spirit of his fallen friend, Gilgamesh fought against the current, every stroke a testament to their bond. He propelled himself across the threshold, reaching the shores of Utnapishtim's realm, collapsing onto the earth, gasping for breath. "Welcome, King Gilgamesh," Utnapishtim greeted him, his voice resonating with ancient wisdom. "You have crossed the waters of death, a testament to your spirit. Speak your truth." "I seek answers," Gilgamesh implored, emotions swirling in a tempest. "How can I reclaim Enkidu's spirit? How do I navigate this grief that haunts me like a shadow?" Utnapishtim regarded him thoughtfully, the weight of eternity behind his gaze. What you seek cannot be taken, it must be earned. Honor your bond, not through resurrection, but by ensuring that his spirit lives on in your deeds. You must learn to embrace the cycle of life and death, for they are intertwined. Gilgamesh's heart clenched, the reality dawning upon him like the first light of dawn. But I cannot bear this weight. This absence is a wound that will not heal. The wound is a part of you, Gilgamesh. It shapes your path, strengthens your resolve. Utnapishtim advised softly. You must carry his memory forward, honor him in your actions. In the kingdom you build, let your grief be the fire that fuels your greatness. With those words, the weight on Gilgamesh's heart shifted and not vanished, but transformed. The realization that he could honor Enkidu not through death, but through legacy brought a flicker of hope to his stone-tossed soul. I will honor him, Gilgamesh affirmed, his voice strong with conviction. His spirit will guide my choices, and I shall forge a path worthy of our brotherhood. As dawn broke, illuminating the world in hues of gold and crimson, Gilgamesh emerged from the waters of death reborn not merely as a king, but as a man who had learned from loss. The threads of fate began to weave anew. Gilgamesh stood at the edge of Utnapishtim Esram, the dawn casting a sacred light upon the waters of death he had crossed. The silence felt heavy, a universe of unspoken words hanging in the air as he turned away from the immortal sage, determination igniting within him like a roaring flame. I will not turn back, for Enkidu's spirit shall live through my deeds. I will return to Uruk and nurture our kingdom, ensuring that his sacrifice was not in vain. With a renewed purpose, Gilgamesh ventured forth, the horizon stretching out before him as a tapestry of possibilities. Yet the gods were not idle, and the shadow of Ishtar loomed large in his mind, whispers of her curse echoing like a haunting melody. He will wander. Lost in grief, she had warned, and he could feel the weight of that prophecy already, an anchor threatening to pull him under. As he made his way back, the land transformed around him, a blend of beauty and danger, where ancient trees twisted like gnarled hands reaching for solace, and valleys whispered of forgotten heroes. It was in one such valley that he encountered his first challenge, a monstrous beast that emerged from the shadows, a creature birthed from nightmares, a lion with scales glimmering like molten gold, its mane a tempest of fire. Gilgamesh felt the primal heat radiating from its form, his heart pounding as the beast stalked toward him, eyes glowing with insatiable hunger. You dare tread upon my domain, it growled, its voice a low rumble that sent tremors through the ground. I seek only passage, Gilgamesh declared, raising his sword, the blade shimmering with the light of 1,000 stars. But should you wish for battle, then let it be so. With that, the lion lunged, and the earth erupted in chaos. Gilgamesh met the creature with fierce resolve, dancing away from its fiery claws, the air crackling around them like the storm before thunder. He swirled, striking low, but the lion was swift, turning to counter with a swipe that nearly sent him sprawling. Foolish king, you think you can best me? The beast roared, and Gilgamesh felt the heat of its breath wash over him, a reminder of the flames of loss that still smoldered within. I am more than a king, I am a brother, Gilgamesh shouted, channeling the energy of Enkidu's spirit within him. Your flame shall not consume me. With a roar of defiance, he charged at the beast, dodging beneath a sweeping claw and thrusting his sword deep into the lioness' flank. The creature howled, a sound of fury and pain that echoed through the valley. Yet it was not defeated, only enraged further, its form glowing brighter, the heat intensifying as it prepared to unleash a torrent of flame. Gilgamesh stumbled back, realizing he had only angered the beast. Panic clawed at his resolve, but he remembered Utnapishtim's words. The wound is a part of you. He took a deep breath, grounding himself, centering his thoughts. This creature is but an echo of my own grief, the embodiment of my fears. With renewed clarity, he circled the lion, waiting for the perfect moment. As the creature unleashed a torrent of fire, Gilgamesh leaped to the side, the flames licking the air where he had just stood. He rolled, drawing upon every lesson of courage he had learned, every battle shared with Enkidu, every laugh exchanged in the face of danger. In a flash of instinct, he struck once more, his sword carving a path through the air towards the lion's throat. I fight for honor, he cried, his blade finding its mark. The lioness roar was silenced as the creature collapsed, its fiery mane dimming to embers, and the valley fell silent once more. Gilgamesh stood over the fallen beast, panting, feeling both the weight of victory and the shadow of his grief. I honor you, my brother, he murmured into the stillness, believing Enkidu's spirit soared alongside him. Your strength guides my hand. With each passing day, the trials grew more formidable as he journeyed onward. He faced venomous serpents that guarded the secrets of the mountains, spirits of the lost who whispered temptations of despair, and the very elements that conspired against him. In every encounter, his bond with Enkidu echoed in his heart, fueling his strength and determination. One evening, as the sun dipped low and the sky blazed with hues of crimson and gold, Gilgamesh found himself at the foot of a colossal mountain, its peak veiled in swirling mists. He could feel the presence of the gods pressing upon him, knowing that they watched from the celestial thrones, waiting for him to falter. As he ascended, the winds howled like banshees, testing his resolve. Each step felt heavier, the weight of his grief threatening to overwhelm him. "I am Gilgamesh," he shouted to the winds, his voice a declaration against despair. "I will not yield." At the summit, the mist parted to reveal a breathtaking view of the world below, a tapestry of valleys, rivers, and forests woven together under a sky of endless stars. Yet, even in this beauty, he felt the presence of the divine, a shimmering figure descending from the heavens. Ishtar, in all her celestial glory, appeared before him, her eyes ablaze with fury. "King of Uruk, you defy the heavens, you walk a path steeped in blood and grief, and yet you continue to seek glory," she proclaimed, her voice both mesmerizing and terrifying. "I seek to honor my friend, Ishtar. I will transform my grief into something great." Gilgamesh replied, unwavering in his conviction. "Honor, you have brought only death, and I will not allow your insolence to continue. You must pay the price for your arrogance." Ishtar's voice echoed, and the skies darkened, swirling ominously around them. In that moment, she unleashed a thunderous storm, bolts of lightning arcing down toward Gilgamesh. With reflexes honed by countless battles, he dodged and weaved, the energy crackling, nearly grazing him. "Face me in combat if you dare," he challenged, his voice ringing with defiance against her divine wrath. "But know this, I will not be cowed by your threats." Ishtar smirked, the storm swirling around her like a tempest of wrath. "Very well, king. If it is battle you desire, then I shall unleash the fury of the heavens." With that, she conjured creatures of myth, monstrous beasts of the storm, swirling winds, and roiling clouds that descended upon him with ferocity. Gilgamesh met them head-on, his sword clashing against the forces of nature itself. Each strike resonated with the power of 1,000 storms, a symphony of chaos that echoed through the skies. Enkidu, he roared, calling upon the spirit of his fallen friend. "Guide my hand, together we are unstoppable." The very air crackled with energy as he fought, each swing of his sword a testament to the bond they had shared. The monsters lunged and twisted, but Gilgamesh danced with them, evading and striking like a whirlwind of fate. The ground trembled beneath him as he pressed forward, the fury of the storm blinding him for a moment. With a surge of courage, he leaped high into the air, unleashing a final, mighty blow. The sword pierced through the heart of the storm, and with a deafening roar, the creatures dissipated into shimmering light, leaving Ishtar momentarily stunned. "You are fierce, king, but do not think your triumph here will absolve you of your sins," she spat, her voice rising with the winds. "I do not seek absolution, Ishtar. I seek to honor a bond that transcends even death," Gilgamesh proclaimed, his voice strong against the thunderous skies. With that declaration, the storm calmed, and Ishtar's expression shifted from rage to an intrigued contemplation. "You may yet carve your name among the stars, Gilgamesh, but remember, every victory demands a price, the gods are fickle, and your journey is far from over." With a flick of her hand, she vanished into the wind, leaving behind an echo of her presence that lingered in the air. Gilgamesh stood alone atop the mountain, the weight of her warning settling upon him like a mantle. But his heart surged with renewed purpose. He was no longer just a king, he was a warrior, a brother, and a champion of legacy. As he began his descent, the dawn spread across the horizon, illuminating the path ahead. Gilgamesh could feel the spirits of the fallen guiding him, whispers of Enkidu echoing in the winds. "Together, we stand," he vowed, an unbreakable bond forged in the fires of loss. From that day onward, Gilgamesh journeyed not just to reclaim a legacy, but to understand the delicate balance of life and death, love and sacrifice. He would return to Uruk, not only as a king but as a beacon of hope, a hero who had faced the gods and emerged stronger, destined to inspire those who followed in his footsteps. The trials ahead would be treacherous, but with each challenge, he would carry the spirit of Enkidu, honor their bond. With the dawn breaking over the horizon, Gilgamesh made his way down the colossal mountain, the taste of victory still fresh upon his lips. The winds whispered sweet nothings of encouragement, wrapping around him like a cloak crafted from the voices of his ancestors. Yet beneath the surface of triumph simmered the relentless weight of Ishtar's curse, a burden that gnawed at him like a ravenous beast. His heart still burned with the memory of Enkidu as he traversed the rugged terrain, each step echoing with the spirit of his fallen friend. "I will honor you, Enkidu," he murmured, determination fueling his every stride, "and I shall not rest until your spirit is woven into the fabric of every tale told in Uruk." Days pass, and as he ventured into valleys rich with life and danger, Gilgamesh became aware of the shifting tides of fate around him. The land felt alive as his sentient eyes watched from the shadows, and every rustle in the underbrush tinged his senses with caution. The gods had set him upon a path riddled with challenges, and he steeled himself for whatever harrowing test awaited. It was on the 6th night, under a moon that shone like a polished pearl, that he encountered his next trial. The air hung heavy with the scent of damp earth, and an ominous stillness enveloped the clearing. Suddenly, the ground trembled, and from the depths of the forest emerged a monstrous figure, a gigantic bull with sinewy muscles rippling beneath its skin, eyes as deep and dark as the abyss. Its roar shattered the night, the very earth vibrating with its ferocity. "Who dares approach my domain?" it bellowed, the sound echoing like distant thunder across the hills. Gilgamesh, fueled by the memories of battle and loss, stepped forward with unwavering resolve. "I am Gilgamesh, king of Uruk. I seek not to invade, but to honor my fallen brother, Enkidu. If it is a fight you desire, then let it begin." The bull snorted, pawing at the earth, its eyes narrowing with disdain. "You think to challenge me? Many have tried, and none have returned. I do not seek to return, I seek to fight for something greater than myself." Gilgamesh shouted, his voice rising in defiance against the creature's oppressive presence. With a sudden charge, the bull lunged like a tempest, its massive horns aimed directly at Gilgamesh's heart. The warrior sidestepped, narrowly avoiding the lethal strike, and swung his sword, glinting in the moonlight, aiming for the bull's flank. The blade met flesh, and a guttural growl erupted from the creature, a sound reverberating through the trees. "Foolish king," it roared, rage fueling its assault. "Your sword is nothing against my might." Gilgamesh felt the heat of battle surge through him, a mixture of fear and exhilaration. "Strength is not the only measure of a warrior," he countered, dodging another vicious swipe. "It is the spirit that drives us to fight." With each clash, the intensity escalated, the bull's ferocity matched only by Gilgamesh's tenacity. The earth became a battleground of grit and determination, the very soil absorbing their struggle. He was reminded of Enkidu, their shared laughter, the bond that had ignited the fire of his resolve. With every strike, he channeled that energy, invoked the spirit of his fallen friend. Finally, in a moment of instinct, he leaped atop the monster's back, gripping its thick fur as it butt and roared in fury. "Now, Enkidu, give me strength." With a surge of will, he drove his sword deep into the creature's spine, feeling the warmth of life ebb away beneath him. The bull let out a final cry, shuddering before collapsing in a heap. Gilgamesh rolled off, panting heavily, the weight of victory mixed with the taste of loss. He knelt beside the beast's lifeless form, whispering a silent prayer. "May you find peace, great guardian." As he rose, a shimmering light began to envelop the clearing, and from the ether emerged a figure cloaked in golden robes, the goddess Isha once more, her expression unreadable. "You have slain my guardian," she said, her voice echoing with both admiration and anger. "What is your next move, Gilgamesh?" "I honor those I conquer, Ishtar," he replied, straightening to meet her gaze. "I fight for more than glory, I fight for legacy and the bonds that define us." "Foolish pride," she spat, yet a hint of intrigue lingered in her eyes. "You believe your actions carry weight, but the gods demand more than mere victories. Your journey is a tapestry woven with sacrifice, and you have yet to see the threads unravel. Then I will gather those threads and weave them into a greater story," Gilgamesh declared, fire igniting within him. "I will not let your curse dictate my fate." With a flick of her wrist, Ishtar vanished, leaving a lingering echo of her presence. The clearing felt charged with magic, a promise of further trials that lay ahead. Gilgamesh, invigorated by his victory yet burdened by the looming threat of divine retribution, pressed onward. The road stretched before him, winding through forest dense with shadows and valleys alive with whispers. He encountered spirits of the lost along the way, ethereal beings who beckoned him with promises of knowledge and power. But each time, he remembered Utnapishtim's words, "The wound is a part of you." He resisted the temptations, knowing he must honor Enkidu. At last, as the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a warm glow across the land, Gilgamesh arrived at the sacred grounds of Uruk. The towering ziggurats rose majestically against the sky, and the Euphrates flowed nearby, shimmering like liquid silver. Yet a sense of foreboding loomed over the kingdom, as if the very air was thick with the weight of unfulfilled destiny. As he entered the city, the townsfolk gathered, their faces a mixture of awe and fear. Whispers cascaded through the crowd like rippling water. "Is it truly him?" they murmured. "The king returned from the dead?" Gilgamesh, a voice rang out, strong and clear. It was his trusted advisor, a wise elder named Ashinabi. "You live, but what have you encountered?" "I have faced the fiercest of beasts and the wrath of the gods," Gilgamesh replied, his voice carrying the weight of his journey. But my heart is heavy with loss. I seek to honor Enkidu and build a legacy that will echo through the ages. Shinobi's brow furrowed, understanding the burden his king bore. The gods may grant you trials, but it is the heart of a ruler that shapes the destiny of a kingdom. You must unite the people, inspire them to rise against the growing shadow of darkness. Indeed, Gilgamesh agreed, the fire of determination igniting within him once more. We shall build a monument to honor Enkidu, a testament to our bond and the strength of our kingdom. That night, under the light of 1,000 stars, the people gathered to hear the king's words. Gilgamesh stood atop the ziggurat, his voice soaring like a clarion call. My people, I have journeyed through the realms of despair and emerged anew. Enkidu's sacrifice fuels my spirit, and together we shall build a legacy that will serve as a beacon of hope. Cheers erupted from the crowd, their voices echoing into the night. Yet, as joy filled the air, a dark cloud loomed on the horizon, a harbinger of strife. The ground trembled, and a thunderous roar shook the very foundation of York. From the shadows emerged a host of monstrous creatures, twisted forms born from nightmares, giant serpents, winged demons, and merciless beasts that surged forth like a tide of chaos. The air thickened with dread, the people crying out in fear. Standing resolute, Gilgamesh raised his sword high, determination coursing through his veins. Fear not, my brothers and sisters, we shall fight as one. The battle erupted, chaos reigning as warriors rallied behind their king. Gilgamesh carved through the horde, his strength amplified by the spirit of Enkidu, each swing of his sword a testament to their bond. The creatures fell beneath his blade, yet the tide of darkness seemed endless, surging forth with newfound ferocity. Do not falter, he shouted, his voice ringing out like a drumbeat of hope. We fight for our home, for the memories of those we love, remember Enkidu. With renewed vigor, the people surged alongside their king, courage igniting their hearts as they met the onslaught head-on. The clash of metal rang through the night, a symphony of defiance against the encroaching darkness. Gilgamesh fought with the ferocity of a lion and the grace of a hawk, his spirit fortified by every memory of his fallen friend. As the battle raged, Gilgamesh found himself face to face with the leader of the monstrous horde, a towering creature cloaked in shadows, its eyes glowing like embers. You think to defy the gods? They hissed, its